What's going on, everybody? About to take a look at the nation real quick. Just trying to get this all set up and ready to go. Get my chat up. Alrighty. See if I can get some music popping in here as well. One moment, folks. If my computer wasn't such garbage, I'd have this all set up already. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's play the music. Bear with me. Bear with me, folks. Alright, let's see here. Alright, let me know in the chat if you guys can hear the music. If it's too loud, not loud enough, let me know. What up, Tom? How you doing? Alright, let's get into it, folks. The cover of Sports Illustrated for Week 12 here in Year 2 of our FCS Dynasty has the Cal Poly Mustangs on it. They are currently number 1 in the nation. They woke up to find out that they were the new number 1. And let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the Sports Illustrated here. Bowl rankings. Mustangs take top spot. Cal Poly takes top spot in the latest bowl rankings. And there they are. Dayton is number 2 currently at 9-1. Cal Poly 8-1. William and Mary at number 3. Savannah State at number 4. You can't hear the music, Tom? Hold up. Hold up, man. Let me see here. Alright, let me know if you can hear that. It should be playing my desktop audio, so hopefully it's working now. Alright, Tulane number 5 at 7-1. So the top 4 schools are all FCS schools right now. I like it. Mexico State at 6, VMI number 7, Boise State undefeated 9-0 on the season, and they are at number 8 right now. Bryant at number 9, Akron at 10, Tennessee State fell all the way down to 11 after getting absolutely destroyed by the Jacksonville Dolphins, and there are the Dolphins right behind the Tennessee State Tigers. Southern Utah getting some love, 13th. Central Michigan at 14, and Ball State is at number 15. That is the bowl rankings. Let's take a look at the top 25. And there's Southern Utah, freshman quarterback Nicholas Hall on the cover of that one. Disrespected. The latest polls have little love for the 8-0 Thunderbirds. What kind of music is this? This is all created by Andy Hamilton. I believe the link should be in the description below. He's got an email if anybody wants to hit him up for some beats. If it's not in the information in the video, I will put it down there. Well, there's the top 5. Nothing really different from the bowl rankings, really. Tennessee State dropped all the way down to number 9. Boise State 10th. Akron. Southern Utah at 12. And they're 8-0 on the season. They've just been destroying, most of the teams that they've faced. Ball State, they just lost to Akron. They dropped down to 13. Central Michigan at 14. Buffalo Bulls at 15. They're 8-1, having a great year. Jacksonville at 16. They move up 4 spots. They're 6-2 currently. Eastern Michigan at 17. The Rebels of UNLV at 18. UTEP falls 11 spots after their loss to the Bryant Bulldogs. UC Davis only moves up 1 spot, which is just so ridiculous after that 54-0 win over Eastern Washington, where the Eagles were held to negative yards of offense. Some shout-outs in the chat. Tom Schaefer, Tyler Rocky, Whit Billions, and Cheeseburger Rivers. Do I have any interest in getting some of the smaller schools into bigger conferences? Well, if the smaller schools, which are actually the bigger schools if you think about it, if they do good enough to get into those conferences, I don't see why they can't move in there. Well, there's the rest of the top 25. The Penn Quakers, the first Ivy League school, making their appearance here on the top 25 polls at 7-1. Let's take a look at that Heisman watch, folks. Heisman hopeful. Not a really good picture of MJ Gator Jr. after his 10-touchdown performance in the Tigers' historic 100-point ball game against the Morgan State Bears. But he's the biggest reason why the Tigers are playing well in 06. Yeah, I would say so. MJ does take the number 2 spot away from Mr. Highlight. So we're back at it again with Brandon Allen and MJ Gator Jr. as the top 2 prospects here on the Heisman watch list. Allen, 2,222 yards rushing on the season, 242 yards receiving, 28 total touchdowns. MJ with 30 total touchdowns. Just both of these guys are phenomenal. And Mr. Highlight as well. Look at those yards. 1,974 all-purpose yards, 24 total touchdowns for a receiver. My goodness. Kingsley Massey, receiver on here for Boise State, 1,169 yards, 15 touchdowns. He's having a great season. And Zoomer Speed makes an appearance here, jumping up into the top 5. He's got 24 total touchdowns. And I love how they show his tackles from the game from Furman. That's bizarre, but I like it. That's the Heisman watch list. Let's take a look at the awards semi-finalists. Not sure if this list has been cut down yet or not. But here's the Maxwell Award. Hines, he's injured. We will not see him winning this. Hops missed a couple games. Sonny Six is on there. Zoomer Speed. This is definitely going to come down to Allen and Gator. The Bednarik, Cy Summers, my guy, at number 1. Joe Owens, another Bryant Bulldog on here. Non-subscriber player, balling out. Orlandi on there. Logan Tyler, sophomore JUCO transfer. Dash Harris, Ralph William, and DB Slocum on the Bednarik. So we're getting plenty of players on here. I don't think we're going to win the Best Quarterback Award. Hines is on there at number 7. Hops at 9. And I don't know how Jeremy Carroll is not on here. He leads all of our subscriber players in passing yards and passing touchdowns. I just don't get it. Doak Walker, it's going to be a 2-man race between Gator and Allen. There's really no point in looking at the rest of the stats. Highlight has a really good shot at winning the Fred Biletnikoff Award for Best Wide Receiver, but he's got to compete with Kingsley Massey for Boise State. Ty Abdullah has 17 touchdowns on the season and more receptions. Look at the receptions. 104 receptions for 1,311 yards with 17 scores. And he is behind Kingsley Massey, who probably has some returns for touchdowns on the season as well. Jake Berry, the number 1 tight end, 25 catches, 10 touchdowns, 512 yards. Boise State has another player on here, Clint Ingram. He's got 7 touchdowns. Trent Green at number 3. Jay Balmer, the freshman tight end for the VMI Keydets, is on there at number 5. Loving it. Brahms North, only 12 catches, but 5 touchdowns on the season. He's at number 6. And that is it for our players. Best offensive lineman. It's just stacked with our guys. Will Jefferson is probably going to run away with this. 95 pancakes for the Northern Colorado Bears. 5 sacks allowed, but he's going to hit close to 150 by the time the season is over, probably. Let's see, Jake Harlow's on there. Bunch of non-subscriber offensive linemen. Dan Williamson, I believe he won it last season. Yes, he did. Best offensive lineman. He won it his freshman year with 111 pancakes, 1 sack allowed. He's not having as good of a season this year, but still pretty good. Kenneth Harrington, 46 pancakes, 4 sacks allowed. He was number 2 in the voting. But again, freshman All-American, first team All-ACC, and first team All-American. Another great talent for the Bryant Bulldogs. The Best Center Award, Sebastian Hernandez, 39 pancakes on the season, 0 sacks allowed. And then we have some non-subscriber centers here. Josh Givens for Southern Utah and Terrell Leonard for the Dayton Flyers. And then Gray North is on here, but he's allowed 3 sacks this season. He did not allow any last year at all. 41 pancakes, no sacks allowed. First team, all Big 12. And that is it for subscriber players for the Remington Award. The Lombardi, Cash Harris, 37 tackles, 10 sacks. He is having a great season. He's also got 6 forced fumbles. Just balling out. Joe Owens, non-subscriber defensive end, 16 sacks. I am pretty sure that leads the nation. Tank Taylor, 6 sacks, forced fumble, and I believe, yes, he does, 6 fumbles recovered on the season. Almost returned one for a touchdown. And that is it for our players for the Lombardi. Take a look at the Best Linebacker Award. Cy Summers, hopefully my guy gets it. He did not win it last year, but he is first team All-American, All-ACC, and freshman All-American. And he might get 100 tackles this season. We're trying. We only had one player last year have triple-digit tackles. Logan Tyler looks like he's going to get there. 79 tackles on the year. 9 for a loss, 2 sacks, 2 picks, 6 forced fumbles, 2 fumbles recovered. This guy has been a stud. Don't pay attention to his freshman stats. They don't count. Rob Orlandi, 6 picks. I don't think he's going to get it. And D.B. Slocum, freshman linebacker for the Flyers. He has had a fantastic season as well. 5 sacks, 46 tackles, a pick, 2 forced fumbles, 3 fumbles recovered. And I believe, yes, he does have a safety as well. 18 tackles for a loss. The Jim Thorpe Award. Ralph William is number 1 currently. 6 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles, a defensive touchdown, and 7 pass deflections. He's been great for the number 1 Cal Poly Mustangs this year. And there's Chris Majors. He might actually get 100 tackles this year again. Let's compare his stats to last season. 100 tackles, 1 sack, 6 picks, 7 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery last year. He already has more deflections this season than he did last year, but 6 sacks from the strong safety spot is absolutely bonkers, and you gotta love it. Let's see, Bully Cooper, Dylan Tong on here. Darius Peters, he's not even going to come close to winning. He was suspended for 5 games, I believe. Jermaine Price, he has a safety from that corner spot. Let's take a look at the Lou Groza Award. A couple non-subscriber guys on here. Dayton Flyers kicker Robert Carter is 14 of 15 on the season, 64 of 64 extra points, balling out. And Alan Coleman, perfect. And that is it for that. Best punter. I don't think we have anybody on here, and they don't show any stats either. Best return man. This is going to be tough because Oliver Vinson, let's take a look. Ridiculous stats. He's got 6 punt returns for touchdowns this year for the Bison and a kick return. So 7 total returns for touchdowns for him. Jamar Hicks, he's got a bunch as well. Not as many as he did last year. He had 4 kick returns last year, just 1 this season. And he had 3 punt returns for touchdowns last year. He tied that total so far this season. Pretty identical stats, but still plenty of ball games left in the season. Highlight, number 3 right now. And he has 3 punt returns for touchdowns, 7 for his career. 1 kick return for a touchdown. He had 1 last season as well. Hagan, non-subscriber cornerback. Maury Manuel has, I believe, 1 kick return and 1 punt return, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, he has 3 punt returns for touchdowns. Forgot about that. My goodness. And no kick returns for touchdowns yet in his career. Wyatt Geddes, freshman halfback, has a punt return and a kick return this season. Balling out. Can't be stopped. Darius Mitchell, I believe he is 1-1 as well. No, he has 3 punt returns for scores, along with 83 for the Northern Colorado Bears. And Bryson Shields is on here, showing some love here to the corner. 1 punt return for a touchdown this season and 1 kick return for a score. Best long snapper, you know it's going to go to you, Tom. You got this. Another shout out in the chat, Eli C. Glad to see you in the chat, buddy. Appreciate you. And the best coach, Noah Regier. They're not even showing any love to the head coach for the Thunderbirds. He's 8-0 in his first season, and the Thunderbirds had a losing record last year at 6-7. Show this man some more love. Show the team some more love, please. John Gruden on there at number 8. Jet Christie, his first season at UC Davis. He's at number 11. And Rondé Barber, number 12 for the VMI Keydets. And that's it for the awards. Let's take a quick look at the Players of the Week. Rayshawn Griffin is honored after Savannah State's thrashing of Morgan State. Call him bus driver. He did have 3 interceptions in that ball game. He doesn't get National Player of the Week on defense, though, which is kind of surprising, but not really if you look at the stats for Kenny Walker. 9 tackles, 5 for loss, 2 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery in Brown's win over the Yale Bulldogs. Look at that, though. MJ Gator Jr., 18 touches on offense. He had, let's see, he had 6 rushing touchdowns he had, and 2 touchdown catches, and a kick return and a punt return for a score in that 108-14 win over Morgan State. And there's Rayshawn's stats: 2 tackles, 3 picks, and a touchdown. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he had a forced fumble or a fumble recovery as well. It's the Big Ten stats. Chip Joseph for the Youngstown State Penguins. 324 yards for him, 4 total touchdowns. Andre McDuffie for the Sycamores. 9 tackles, 5 for loss, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. The Big 12, Daley Redding, 5 touchdowns on 13 carries for 227 yards. Phenomenal. Bryson Shields, 11 tackles, a pick, and a forced fumble for the VMI Keydets in the drubbing of Southeastern, 70-28 win. Tyson Baker, halfback for the Penn Quakers, who are 7-1 on the season, 24th in the nation right now. He had 132 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. And there's Kenny Walker again. Where's Jay Ballmer? Well, Jay, you made it to the tight end award list, so you're on there. I believe you were number 5 or 6. Shout out Mason Smith in the chat. What's up, buddy? You're coming back this week, man. You are no longer injured. Gator Jr. for first overall pick in the EFL draft. I don't know, man. We might see a defender on there. Who knows? 1A Independence. Northeastern having a great season. I think they only won maybe 1 or 2 games last year. But their receiver, Kendall Horton, 170 yards on 15 catches and a touchdown. Jamar Bailey had a good game as well. The MAC. Look at those yardage. My goodness. 31 carries, only 97 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns, 2 catches, 88 yards, and a score for Jeff Russell. Antoine Stewart, 8 tackles, 4 for loss, a sack, forced fumble, and a touchdown for the Bobcats. Mountain West. Redshirt sophomore halfback had 147 yards, 4 touchdowns. And for Air Force, Pete Montz, outside linebacker, 11 tackles, 4 for loss, a sack, and a forced fumble in a 21-0 win over Army. I know, Mason, it's been quite a while, man. Can't remember how many weeks you missed, but it was like 7. 7 or 8. But the Jackrabbits desperately need you back on the defense, bud. Chris Smith for Portland State in the win over San Diego, which just crushed their dreams of a bowl game. He had 315 yards, 4 touchdowns. Jay Washington for the Cal Poly Mustangs, number 1 in the country in the win over Sacramento State, 42-28. He had 8 tackles, 3 for loss, a sack, a forced fumble, and I believe he had a fumble recovery for a touchdown as well. Mr. Highlight, 11 catches, a $196, 4 scores, 3 carries, 14 yards for him in the win over number 1 Tennessee State. Kenneth Taylor for Southern, freshman outside linebacker, in a win over Alabama State. Had 11 tackles, 2 for loss, a sack, and a pick. Don't forget to slap that like button, folks. I appreciate you guys. Jared Graham, freshman quarterback for FAU, 511 yards, 4 scores, and a win over Samford. Charles Lucas, freshman outside linebacker for Georgia Southern, who is 7-1 on the year, unranked, in a 29-20 win over App State at 3 tackles, 3 picks. And the WAC, Trey McCoy, 553 yards, 6 touchdowns. We might be seeing him on a team in the EFL year 1. O.J. Thomas for Fresno State, 7 tackles, tackle for loss, 2 picks, and a fumble recovery in a loss to Boise State. Take a look at the conference standings. It's going to get crazy here in the final 4 weeks. Cal Poly celebrates their 42-28 home victory over rival Sacramento State. Home cooking, baby. And here's the ACC. William & Mary at the top, 7-0 in conference. Their next game is versus the number 4 ranked Savannah State Tigers. That is a huge game this week. And Bryant is down there at number 3. Let's take a look at the divisions. William & Mary on top of Bryant. So Bryant has no shot at reaching the ACC championship game after winning it last year and winning the national championship game. But we still might see them get a bowl bid to a bigger game, as they are ranked number 7 in the country right now. Savannah State, they are going to be in the title game, the ACC title game that is. Morgan State has no shot, especially after that 108-14 win. Slap that like button like it owes you money. I like it. Dayton, they are going, well, they still could lose it actually. A couple more conference games for them. Or no, just one more actually. But if they lose that, Youngstown State and Montana still got a shot if they finish off this season with no more conference losses. They could still take it away from Dayton. You wish South Carolina State was good? Well, there's still plenty of time. I mean, this dynasty could go for 28 more seasons, so we'll see what happens. VMI atop the Big 12, South Dakota State right behind them, Southeastern number 3, and North Dakota State at number 4. And North Dakota State still has a shot at winning the North. And if they do, they'll end up going on to take on VMI in the Big 12 title game. The Big East is led by Penn. Brown is also having a great year at 7-2, 4-1 in conference. Conference USA is led by UTEP and Tulane. Weber State, my apologies, still has a shot, and that would be crazy. But they would need UTEP and Tulane to lose their final 2 conference games. And they might actually, well, let's see, they got one more conference game. If they win that, and James Madison has a couple losses in conference, Weber State is going to be in the Conference USA championship game. So that would be huge for the FCS schools. Shout out in the chat, Twilight Rainbow Dash. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. You can go 60 seasons with this? I don't know, man. I thought it was always 30. But if it goes 60, you know we're doing it. What's up? Akron atop the MAC at 6-0. Buffalo still has a shot, though. And Ball State, Eastern Michigan, and Central Michigan all still fighting for the MAC West. UMass 0-9. Wow. Eastern Kentucky is atop the Mountain West right now at 7-2. They just beat number 25 Wyoming. That is a huge win. And the next game, they are at Western Kentucky, who is also 0-9 on the season. Wow. That is rough. Murray State 1-8 on the season. I believe they beat one of our schools last year. I just cannot remember which one it was. But Eastern Kentucky, in year number 2 of this dynasty, you know, one of our FCS schools here is already competing for a conference title game. It is 60? That's awesome. Well, you know we're doing it. We got to. Oh, that's right. Madden can only go 30. Let's see. Pac-10. Southern Utah sitting pretty at the top. And they're only above Cal Poly right now because they have 0 losses. Cal Poly lost to New Mexico State in their first ball game of the season. UC Davis still has an outside chance at winning it if Southern Utah and Cal Poly both lose their final 2 games, which I don't think is possible because, well, Cal Poly plays Southern Utah this week. UC Davis is going to be at Northern Arizona. That should be another easy win for the Aggies. Northern Colorado sitting at number 5 right now. They do not have a shot at the conference title, but they can still finish top 3 possibly. And here they are, San Diego 2-7, and they could win out and tie the worst record that we've seen in this dynasty so far. But they're 0-6 in conference. They just lost to Portland State by a boatload. They just had a really rough season so far. A lot of injuries and not a lot of help on defense, really, as far as their secondary getting takeaways or forced fumbles, things of that nature. The SEC, Jacksonville is currently 3rd, but they do have 3 more conference games in the season. Tennessee State still number 1, Alcorn State number 2, and the East could still, it's still up for grabs here. Texas Southern 4-5 on the year, but 4-2 in conference, so that could get really wild right there. And the West, if Jacksonville wins out for their last 3 conference games, they will be in the title game again. Sun Belt is led by FIU. Georgia Southern just beat Appalachian State. They have 1 conference loss on the season. I believe they lost to FIU earlier in the year. WAC is led by Boise State, 6-0 in conference, 9-0 overall. I like it. And that is it for that. What else do you guys want to look at? You want to look at some stats right quick? Let's get it. Let's see who's leading the nation. Passing yards, Dustin Brown for San Diego State, 3,391 yards passing, 34 touchdowns. But Trey McCoy a little bit more impressive, just 5 picks to his 34 scores. Well, this is crazy. Look at these passing yards. I believe Jeremy Carroll's coming up soon, though. He's got 2,300, I believe. 2,433 yards, 28 touchdowns. He's 5th in the country, and yet he's not on the best quarterback award list, which is very surprising to me. He has thrown 12 interceptions. Tremaine Watson leads the nation in picks with 14. Isaac Willis for Grambling State, the Tigers, averages 358 passing yards per game. My goodness. And look at this, 78% completion percentage. We got Drew Brees out here. Jimmy Carroll, Tremaine Watson at the top for average yards per completion. Hines at number 5. Longest pass is 96 on the year. Justin Moore for Wyoming has been sacked a whopping 39 times. And Patrick Turner for Western Michigan is right behind him. My goodness. Rushing. Look at that. My goodness gracious. Almost 700 more yards Allen has over Nate Henderson. But Henderson also has 23 touchdowns. That's crazy. Sonny Six, Mesh Jackson, MJ Gator Jr., Zoomer Speed on here, over 1,000. And Brandon Lee, first fullback in our dynasty to go over 1,000 yards. And there's the touchdown leaders. 3 players have 23 on the season. Our averages are absolutely insane, though. Just a lot of big runs. We got a lot of guys with 10 or more rushing touchdowns. There's Brandon Lee, fullback with 10. And I believe that's it. Our longest run that we've seen so far this season is 91. Actually, no, we did see Lawrence Tompkins with that 92-yarder against South Dakota State. Well, Zoomer Speed has a 90-yarder. Brandon Allen averaging 222 yards per game. 890 yards after first contact. Jeez Louise. 27 runs of 20 or more yards. Throw stats on here with 16. It's just going to be all of our players right here. Next closest is Lawrence Tompkins. He probably got 6 or 7 of those against South Dakota State. Broken tackles, 87 for Allen, 85 for Tyreek Taylor, who has missed a game with injury. And Kelvin Jasper Jr. with 14 fumbles. Everybody go into the Discord and tag him and tell him to stop eating all that popcorn. And we will never see any of our guys on here for catches. Our leader is Mr. Highlight with 42, I believe. Nobody over 1,000 yards yet. Highlight very close with 978. Leads the nation in yards per catch, 23.2. He's got the most touchdowns just by 1 ahead of Andrew Butler and Ty Abdullah. Yards per game. Do we have anybody over 100? Yes, we do. Mr. Highlight. Is Reinhard Urmandowski on here? No, he's not. The Rack. Anybody over 500? Nope. Okay. We don't do so well in the Rack, I guess. We got nobody on the drops from top 5, or bottom 5, however you look at it. So that's pretty decent. Will Jefferson leads the nation in pancakes with 95. He's going to be a runaway for the Offensive Lineman Award. That's not even going to be close. Tackles. Logan Tyler is what, number 6? Yeah, number 6 in the country with 79 tackles this season. I don't think we have anybody else over 70. I don't have the tackling stats in the Discord because that's just going to take forever to do all those. A lot of tackles for a loss here. Frank Theory and Joe Owens lead the nation with 25. They're tied with Billy Cannon from Delaware State. Cy Summers has 24. Do we have anybody else over 20? No, we don't. Sacks. Joe Owens, 16, leads the nation. Kyle Rose at number 2. William Reed at number 3. He's tied with Cash Harris with 10 sacks on the season. Now, Cash Harris only had 4 sacks last year. William Reed had 9, so he already bested his record from last year. And Kyle Rose has beat his by 4. And Joe Owens, 26 sacks in 2 seasons. He is just a beast. Hopefully he stays for another year so we can be a part of our first ever Elite Football League draft. Rashawn Griffin leads the nation in interceptions with 7. Rob Orlandi and Ralph William are right behind him with 6. And Dylan Tong is on there with 5. Malik Bean has 5. And that is it for 5 or more. Allen Davidson at 4. And yards, Gloves Malone, and the meme from last season, CJ Moreland, 3 picks, 206 yards. My goodness. And he has a long of 99. I believe 2 of his returns were about 99 yards. He's just been returning them all for touchdowns this season. Gloves Malone, long of 103. Bunch of pass deflections here. Forced fumbles. Logan Tyler, Cash Harris, both with 6. Got a couple players with 5. Dirk Davis on there, the freshman. And Tank Taylor leads the nation with 6 fumble recoveries. Bully Cooper leads the nation with fumble yards with 88. No blocks. And there have been 4 safeties this season for us. 3 for Dayton Flyers and 1 for San Diego. And we got the most defensive touchdowns here. Gloves Malone with 3. Moreland with 2. Griffin, Cooper, Summers, Simons. And that is it for 2 or more touchdowns. Are some players in the FCS retiring? I don't see how you can retire from college. I mean, they're going to be in the EFL no matter what. All right, field goals made. Carter, there he is, 14 of 15. And we have subscriber kickers here. Let's find them. There he is. There's one, Quasi Sands, JUCO transfer, junior kicker, 11 of 12, long of 51 on the season. And Johnny Legursky's on here somewhere for Northern Colorado. There he is, 8 of 8, 100%. I like it. Longest field goal of the season is 56 yards. 68 extra points made for Curtis Muhammad. Let's see here. Who has the most made 50-yard field goals? Well, Sands is 2 of 2. Most touchbacks, Dwight Turner for South Dakota State. He's got 36. Matt Brasher's right behind him. His kick power is insane. Let's see, where is it? 95 kick power for the junior. And the longest punt on the season, Corey Butler, Morgan State. We just saw him against Savannah State. Man, he was on the field quite a bit. Kick returns, 4 touchdowns. We do not have anybody with more than 1. But Robbie Moody has 2 for Sam Houston State. Victor Breedlove for McNeese State has 2. And Casey Eugene, true freshman receiver for Montana, has 2. Punt returns. I mean, we're going to rule this category forever. Oliver Vincent has 6. We got a bunch of guys with 3. And nobody with 2, but a bunch of guys with 1 as well. That is it, folks. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let you guys take a look here at the schedule. If you are not in the Discord, here's your look at the schedule for the week. It's going to be a pretty fun week. Jacksonville hosts Alabama A&M in an SEC game. UC Davis at Northern Arizona in a pack-time matchup. South Dakota State versus VMI. That's going to be a fun game for me to just do commentary and not have to worry about playing the game. And then this one. This is the game of the week in the nation and for all of our schools. Savannah State number 4 at number 3 William and Mary. 7-2 versus 8-1. This game has national championship implications here, and I cannot wait to play that game. That one will be out Monday night. Bryant at Florida A&M. Northern Colorado at Portland State. Number 1 Cal Poly. This is another one where I can just commentate. Number 1 Cal Poly at number 12 Southern Utah. In Cedar City, Utah. 8-1 Cal Poly. 8-0 Thunderbirds. Tennessee Tech at North Dakota State. Villanova at number 2 Dayton. Idaho State 2-6 on the year at 2-7 San Diego. That is going to be the final game of week number 12. And I mean, we got to win out here for San Diego. We got to finish on a strong, strong final 3 games. Because, I mean, it's been rough. They've had some injuries at quarterback. Xavier Wilson was named the starting quarterback, and he is out for the rest of the season. So, it's going to be tough. But there's going to be a new starting quarterback for the Toreros. It's not going to be Darryl Ballard, so stay tuned for that one, folks. That is going to be out Thursday night, I believe. But that is it for this stream, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning into this one. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. And I will see you guys all on Sunday night with these two games right here. Alabama A&M at Jacksonville. UC Davis at Northern Arizona. I'll see you guys then. Take it easy.